you would all please make sure your cell phones are silenced, and if you have not done so already, please sign in on the guest sheet at the door there. And then with that, I'd like you all to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Littleton,
Here.
Gorka,
Here.
Ludwigson,
Here. Okay, and now I will read our adopted policy for zoning, because we're kind of like zoning. The adopted policy of the Berlin Township Architectural Review Board is that each applicant or agenda item will be given 10 minutes or at the discretion of the chairperson to make a formal presentation. The chair will also, the chair will allow questions from the commission members in order to provide a timely and orderly discussion of business for consideration. Finally, the audience will then be given up to 3 minutes or at the discretion of the chairperson for each speaker to respond. The chairperson may limit repetitive debate, and all comments from the audience must be addressed to the chairperson. I'm a little flexible on that because I think all of us can contribute to the answers pretty equally, probably. And then I'd like to also remind you, for the Architectural Review Board, our purpose is to just go over architectural standards. So we decided we would, we came up with this checklist, and it just goes through stuff like setbacks and building heights, landscaping requirements, and things like that. So, and what we are doing tonight pertains to this particular application. So if you have questions, comments, concerns about anything other than the application tonight, we still welcome your comments. We probably can't do anything about it, but they will be on the record, and will go along to the Zoning Commission and the Board of Trustees. So they will see those comments eventually, and they are the ones that are more likely to be able to act on those concerns. And with that, then I think the next thing we need to do is verify that the meeting was advertised.
yes, on May 24th, 2013, or 2023.
Then next, I would like to make a motion to approve the ARB work session meeting minutes from March 7th, 2023. Second. Please call the roll.
Littleton,
Yes.
Gorka,
Yes.
Ludwigson,
Yes. Okay, we got all our paperwork out of the way now. And the next up on the agenda is our application that we are hearing tonight. It is BBP case 23-002. Okay. Filed by Metro Development, 470 Old Worthington, Suite 100, Westerville, Ohio, 43082. The applicant is requesting an administrative review for a residential hotel development, parcel number 418-140-01-005-000. It is plus or minus 6.369 acres, and this will be from Planned Commercial District, PCD, to Berlin Commercial Overlay, BCO, using the North American Industry Classification System, or NAICS, code number 721110. And this is at State Route 37 East in Sunbury, Ohio, 43074. With that, I would like to turn it over to the applicant.
Thank you. This is just a handout. That's what we're going to see on the slides this evening. We'll look at some close-up details.
Thank you. Thanks.
You sure? Wasn't really sure where to set up this evening, so I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes by where I place the screen. Like you mentioned, I'm Joe Thomas, Metro Development, 470 Worthington Road, Westville, Ohio. With me tonight is Todd Ferris with Ferris Plan and Design. Appreciate your time. We actually acquired this property about a year and a half ago. This property is located almost at the corner of Africa and 3637, just adjacent to the RCDRB lot, which is just to the west of us. And then the K. Hovanian Homes is just to the south, or sorry, to the east of us. And to the south of us is actually property we own, which is called Ravines and Meadow Ridge. So this is kind of just another slide that shows you the RCDRB lot, the K. Hovanian Homes, the property to the south of us. Then just next to the K. Hovanian Homes and on our further east property line is the Brisky Concrete, the Hills Blacktop and Concrete, and Hills Storage, that location. And just an overview of some of the stuff that's going on in this area. That's been going on for some time, and we've been part of it for a number of years. We acquired the property to the south called Ravines and Meadow Ridge back in 2005, which is noticed on this map. A few years ago, we annexed that to the city of Sunbury and have been working with ODOT, Delaware County, and the city of Sunbury on that development, which is being impacted by what they call the Sunbury Parkway. To the east of this development, south of this development, on 71 north and south is going to be a future interchange that will be located just south of the Tanger Outlet Mall. And as part of the interchange, there's going to be new connections, both going east into Sunbury and of course west going into Berlin Township and on to 3637, which obviously goes on to the city of Delaware. But as part of that parkway development, there's going to be a lot of new roads and or roads being relocated as part of these plans. So 3637, the business 3637 going where you're currently located will not change, but the 3637 interchange connection going south will go through a portion of the site we're speaking about this evening, and then also the realignment at Africa Road will also become part of that discussion as far as the corner of this property. And then as we know it, the RCDRB will no longer exist because of these two major intersections occurring. They're looking at, as part of this interchange, the Africa Road interchange will be roughly 8 lanes in the future, for southbound, southbound, northbound kind of direction with traffic signals and stuff. Parkway is going to be 6 lanes. Parkway being going through these properties, not just through Ravines and Meadow Ridge, but also going through properties south of us and so on. Stites Road, Freebies and K will not be in line like it is currently. It'll be part of the Freebies and K will be disconnected from the north of the new alignment, and then the south will be connected. But then Four Winds, as the future goes, Four Winds will be the main connection going from 3637 down to the Parkway in the future. So this is the site. This is called North Fort Residential Hotel. Residential hotel essentially is a classification of a commercial structure that is built under the High Revised Code as a type of hotel. There's 3 classifications for hotels currently in the High Revised Code. One being a traditional hotel, which is transient in nature. Second being an extended stay hotel, which is not as transient and can be a longer stay than the residential hotel classification. The type of hotel that we're determine this to be as a residential hotel. The minimum stay is 30 days, but there's no maximum stay. The state fire department, fire marshal, is the state agencies that certifies these as hotels. We actually have to submit, like with all our other plans, we have to submit plans to the state. They review and approve and issue hotel license to our development. As part of that process, they also review the plans to make sure they are actually classified as a hotel product, which is R1 construction. And then they also do inspections on site. So in this particular development, we'll have Berlin Township involved in inspections on the zoning side. We'll have Delaware County as a building inspector. We'll have the Berlin Fire Department as part of the fire inspection. Then we'll have the state fire marshal involved as a state fire inspection. So this development is made up, as you can see up here, there's essentially 6 different buildings. The building at the top right is a combination of hotel suites and hotel lobby space. The hotel lobby space is made up of the hotel reception area as well as hotel guest amenity space, which is exercise facility. There's a coffee bar in there, breakfast area, and actually an office stations for the hotel guests as well. If they have like business need for using computers, fax machine, scanner, copier, we have 3 different stations in there for them for their use. The actual hotel lobby itself is locked down after business hours, but the hotel exercise area facility for the actually hotel residents is open 24 hours with security access. In our hotel lobby and throughout the perimeter and interior of the hotel lobby and exercise has full security cameras that are watched 24/7. Also, as part of the development, we have a swimming pool on the exterior of the hotel lobby space and buildings, and then associated other buildings around the actual site itself. Todd can get into details about the landscape feature, but as you can tell, in the center of this property, we have a large, almost 1 acre open space as part of this development, which comes with the actual overlay, the Berlin Business Park overlay requirement to have that center actual open space feature. And within that open space feature, we have a dog park, we have a mailbox kiosk, and then we have walking trails for the guests. These walking trails are all connected internally throughout the property, and then they're ultimately all going to be connected with a path here to the future Sunbury Parkway. So all these residents will have a trail access to the parkway here would be the north side of the parkway in the future. This is the elevations of the exterior of the buildings. Kind of hard to obviously depict the actual elevations in basically a flat 2D model such as this, but all the exterior is made up of all natural materials. There's a combination of hardy plank, both lap siding, shake siding, board and batten, which is all hardy plank, and then there's the stone, large stone panels of the building itself that are inside these gables areas here. Large stone panels here, and then a brick water table that goes around the rest of the perimeter of the space itself. And then there's a brick water table or brick panel that goes around the opening on each building entryway. The exterior of the buildings also have patios or decks. Patios and decks are made up of aluminum black railing with columns that are 10 by 10 columns with also hardy plank wrapped portion. And then the handrails themselves are all black aluminum, which is connected to the building or to the railing itself, both on the patio area and the decks above. So that's basically the suite exteriors, and then you have other architectural elements within our community, being the mail kiosk, which is also made up of various products, stone and or hardy plank siding, and then the exterior of the 2 garage bays have the hardy plank and the water table around the base. Then also we have a trash compactor area, which is made up of limestone, culture stone that surrounds the entire perimeter, and then the hardy plank gates themselves, and then, like I mentioned, the garages. And here's the products. Kind of hard to make up the color on the screen, but they're going to be essentially a Summit Blue, most of it with a white trim, and then we have a Dutch quality Kentucky blend limestone, which is the large stone panels, and then we have a brick, triangle brick in colors called Fort Smith, and then the roof will either be a Tamco or IKO product, and both similar color and nature, be it a weatherwood or earthwood. They both have separate names, and it's actual a dimensional shingle product that's on the exterior roof section. Here's a better elevation of the structures themselves. So as I mentioned before, large panel of that cultured stone, and then the balance of the building made up with the hardy plank shake, the hardy plank lap siding. Interior to the patio areas is where the board and batten is, and then there's shake in the gables themselves above the patio areas. These are probably a larger area of the building itself to show you that black iron railing around the patio. Again, all the patio decks are wrapped with the hardy plank. Something a little different that we are showing here, but that will be differently done within our opening there. As you see, that actual railing will all be all black instead of the natural color. And then here's an elevation for the end of the building with the windows and shutters. Again, hardy plank lap siding on basically the bottom 2/3, and then hardy shake siding on the upper third, and then the architectural vents on the ends. Here's another elevation as well of the buildings. Again, showing you the hardy plank at the top of the patio areas, the board and batten inside the patio area and deck area, and then of course the stone and the shake, and then lap siding on the buildings itself. A little bit closer with that same structure. Here's the interior of the suites. Two different types. There's a 1-bedroom suite, and then also a 2-bedroom, 2-bath suite. Both have a full kitchen with full appliances. Appliances consist of a range, refrigerator, an actual microwave and dishwasher. And then there's a washer and dryer in location. A lot of these suites will come fully furnished. That's at the request of the hotel guest. Some are left unfurnished. And here's the 2-bedroom, 2-bath, again, full kitchen, fully applianced, washer and dryer. This has 2 bathrooms, one with a tub and one with a stand-up shower. These are internal pictures of the hotel lobby amenities. As I mentioned, down the bottom left-hand corner will be a small computer station for the hotel guest. There's open space as far as the hotel gathering area and lobby, hotel check-in area, and then there'll be exercise cardio equipment and so on within the actual exercise room. Then here's interior pictures of the suites. So I'm going to go over the landscape features and the building setbacks and so on.
Yeah, Todd Ferris with Ferris Planning and Design. Just briefly touch on the landscape plan and landscape requirements. The corridor overlay is pretty specific about landscape materials and quantities. In this packet, this shows you all the materials that are on the plans, and the whole packet, which I don't know if you Yeah, you guys have the book. It actually shows the requirements versus what we have. So we're providing more than what's actually required by the code, with the majority of that being in the central green space to help you find out more. But your code basically asks to provide buffering between uses, which we've done with a combination of either plant material or fencing or both. And then along the frontage of 3637, it asks for a specific ratio of trees and shrubs that are out there, which we've accommodated. That in also taking into account the future right-of-way, which was interesting in this project. Here's a piece of the ground that ultimately is going to be carved away a little bit more as well. So we've incorporated all that plant material in here, organized the central green space, and met the requirements of that. As far as the building setbacks, I think there were some calculations of the heights that were in the code that came out to about a 36.5-foot building setback for the suites from property lines, and we're at that or beyond in all the locations. And then the garages, I think there was one question on that from Scott Sanders, and we looked at that. Actually, with those dimensions, that should be about a 12-foot setback. Our number showing it at 6. So we either got to go and modify those garages or move to the southern property line, which we haven't decided exactly which to do yet. If we move them along the southern property line, then fine. We've got plenty of room there. But right now, they're set at the parking setback, which is 6 feet. So they currently don't fall into that setback ratio. So, one of those fun things you find out right before the meeting. So anyway, but we've complied with the corridor standard setbacks from the right-of-ways, both future right-of-ways of 3637 and the bypass in front of our buildings on that for the recommendations of the overlay district. So if there's any questions on that, but it's kind of straightforward, I think, on the landscape.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so now we'll kind of like run through our checklist and we'll we'll go like item by item.
Did you want to get public comment first, or you want to do that after we talk?
I think we should do that after we talk, because then, if we cover some of our things. Yep. So, first of all, I know there's a concern, and kind of some confusion, I think, and it sounds like it was discussed at the regional planning meeting too, of like, is this residential or is it like, should we kind of be looking at this as like R10, or should we be looking at it as like strictly commercial? And I don't really know the legal answer to that, but it's definitely something I'm concerned with. So I kind of think we should look at both. I kind of printed out both checklists and was kind of going through, like, a lot of the requirements are similar, but
Can I answer some of that?
yeah.
So prior to us purchasing the site, we did discuss this with the Delaware County Prosecutor's Office for their interpretation.
Yeah.
And they interpret this under the section 1503, which is the commercial overlay code.
Okay.
So we disagree with what regional planning's comments were. We would not have done this otherwise, as far as this property, because of the purchase price for one on the property, and the location of it being in a commercial area and a high traffic visibility area lends itself to higher commercial uses. So we went and did our due diligence. I provide that. We presented a letter from our attorney to the prosecutor's office and then received their interpretation.
I would also add, it's probably not our responsibility to decide.
Right, but I just looked at
But yeah.
BCO checklist, I didn't look at our tenants, so.
That's fine. I'm fine with proceeding just as that, because, I mean, like I said, I don't know the answer. But,
Yeah, we can work for zoning, and if they do decide it's R10, then they gotta come back to ARB for R10, right? Because they applied as BCO.
Correct.
okay, fair enough, yeah.
Well, the R10 isn't allowed use in the BCO though.
But different standards.
Correct. Yeah, you're right, but still.
Yeah, I mean, it's-
Yes.
We would not construct a building as we're constructing now. So we're actually constructing a much higher standard of construction type, which actually has more fire suppression, more fire alarms, more fire extinguishers, more exits. And of course, the oversight of the state of Ohio. And it's an annual inspection to maintain all those items as well that we spoke of, as well as other hotel-related issues that you have to provide to the state as part of your annual licensure updates. And then, as far as the Ohio building code itself, the higher standard, Ohio building code going from what would they call a normal apartment would be an R2 construction, or R3, this is an R1 construction. So it's like any other hotel construction you find with those standards. So the sleeping rooms have fire suppression, the closets, the restrooms, the kitchen area, all have fire suppression. And then you have pool stations and the exits, which has the ability to effectuate the alarm from a hotel suite guest. If they see another residence suite, possibly, a fire, they can pull the alarm as well in all the exits. So it's just a little different guideline.
Well, with that, I guess we should go through the BCU. Just general BCU. Does anybody want to lead the charge?
I can if you like.
Okay, sure. And we can just kind of
Stop me if you disagree.
Yeah, yep.
So minimum track size is 5, this exceeds that at 6.369. Lot width, half the lot depth. It's kind of funky shaped, but I do feel it meets the intent of that. Setbacks, 36, 37, 10 foot, 60 foot, 10 foot. So I think I met all that. Minimum side and rear yard setbacks, I could not find on the plans the height and depth of the structure. So is that on a plan that I missed?
No, the actual plan itself, you're talking about the garage structure?
No, I'm talking about the building.
Oh, sorry, it's in the text of the actual application,
So, okay, so I did find it on
in the
this
book itself,
page 2 of,
correct, on tab 1.
and point is, I just couldn't verify it on the plans, and that's something I would like to typically do, but it does meet that. Building height adjacent to residential. There is no residential around it. Building height is less than 45. Rooftop mechanicals, I did not see any detail of that, so that meets that. Rooftop screening, not needed. Building size, smaller than 65. And then we go down to architectural. Site design facing 36, 37 must appear to be front, and I do not agree with that for building or Hotel 6. Is that that's the
The
little
lobby one, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say the same thing. I noticed on one of the drawings, you guys kind of have, I think, the north facing, or the north, what do you call it? Elevation.
That would be this structure here. Would be the north facing, wood 6.
So So that's what that's gonna look like from the street.
Correct. So the hotel lobby's here, hotel lobby entrance, and then it's all covered in windows on the bottom floor, and then the hotel suites above it are the same nature as all the other products.
So the one, let's see, so this D3 in our book, it kind of shows like a little, I don't know what you call that, coming out of the front of it. I feel like that might be a nice, like if you could do that, a good addition, like something like that might make it look more front. Like front elevation.
But at current, it does not.
Current, right.
It does not
I
look.
feel like it just looks like the side. I would like to see more there.
That's what you're referring to. Or kind of looks like it has a
Projection or something.
little gable end or something on the front of that.
That would certainly help. Just any more about the dimension.
Yeah, aren't those things about the window, Joe? Those are the alarms, are they not?
Yeah, there's actually, it doesn't obviously do great justice on this one, but there's actually above each window's awnings on these structures here, large awnings themselves. So we can figure out another structure that may give a larger scale for that side of the building.
Even like moving the door to the center and having it more pronounced,
Okay,
something like that. But again, we're just to say yes or no, not.
understand. Understood.
Okay. Building design, traditional artisan design, same detail on all sides. Again, there's blank sides. So it doesn't meet that requirement.
I'm not as worried about that myself, just because it's the same materials. And it's got the shaker and the just normal stuff.
The picture does look better than
Yeah, so that's
what
all
it was
shake.
showing, but it's still,
Yeah, that's all shake on the top third or top story. And then obviously the windows are an architectural element that we don't traditionally have it added for this feature. To not have, no architectural detail on that side of the building. But we can, if you guys have some suggestions, sure.
Addition.
I don't know, to me, it's a blank wall that, the front and the back have beautiful detail and there's nothing on the side, so it doesn't meet that requirement for me.
Maybe extending the water table or making it out of that stone instead of brick.
So then the next item is building colors, browns, tans, and grays, leaf greens, sky blues, and whites as accent. And although I agree it's a beautiful blue, it's not allowed in the,
It's not blue, it's more gray.
Is it red?
Blue gray.
I
So what was the
I like
intent?
it.
just read the code.
I know, what is it? Well, I didn't understand the intent of that language. It was
They want muted colors, browns, tans, and grays.
so if it was just a gray accent, gray, basically the gray shakes, like a Nantucket kind of gray, or whatever you call that.
You're talking
Personally-
about the color of the building.
Blue, yes.
We worked on that structure. siding structures. It says the color blue.
Well, I know, but gray has blue in it, that's actually, this is a cool gray or a warm gray. I mean, once that brown comes
Did you happen to, I forgot my, actual code, but yeah, does it say? Gray sky blues? Utilize as an accent. It stinks because I personally like this, but it doesn't, I guess
So
it doesn't
maybe-
meet the code, so we're not here to be like, yeah, you're allowed to do it or not, but,
Zoning would be
So-
able to make that decision, we're just saying it doesn't meet
Yeah.
the code, and you could
Understood.
come in with
The
something in your
language,
back pocket,
yeah,
that's
I
like, how about this color?
Okay.
So you're saying the gray is too blue?
Well, when it's called out as sun and blue, it doesn't help.
Well, they're selling it, look at the people that are making it, they're selling it.
Maybe if there was something that had actual color and stuff printed out, that might help.
I can bring color chips.
Yeah, that might help.
Unless they're more blue.
Well, no, they won't be, it'll be more gray. We'll have like actual scientists, chemists here to tell you what gray they are in the spectrum.
How many chips of yellow, red,
Yeah.
blue, gray?
Actually, we'll bring Sherwin Williams here.
There you go.
yes.
Design elements, blank walls, not permitted, no more than 20 feet per length. 3 design elements per 100 feet each side. Elements are in the code. Against the blank walls, same discussion as building design.
Yeah.
Now, the structures themselves, is it more of the entire site? Or are you concerned about certain ends of certain buildings, because it talks about in the text, more elements that are facing the public versus internal?
But this portion is building design,
Yeah.
so it's
Okay.
actually, I take it as individual building.
That's why I interpreted it as to.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much is between those windows on the sides.
The building's about 60 feet, so there's probably 40 feet.
Right.
But we have 3 elements within 100 feet. That's on top and then 2.
Is it 100 feet height? It wouldn't be height.
No,
Nothing
it's
is gonna be
like-
that high. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's one thing, says for every 100 feet of elevation. Does that just means
Length,
just,
yeah.
well, it's probably up
Just in
100 foot
general.
of the elevation.
gotcha.
It needs to have so many elements. Because you put too much on the front side, Joe, and then it makes them decisive. Okay.
Next item is roofing. If sloped, must be 612 pitch. I believe all of these were
Correct.
met that. You mentioned dimensional shingles, but it does not say that in the plan, so dimensional shingles are what you're planning.
Correct. I think they call them architectural.
Now we're moving on to layout. Ground coverage, maximum of 75%, you're below that. Open space, 25% of track, minimum 50% of total track green, central green, you have that. Space front of buildings, shell face, green space, and from what I saw, that all. At that,
For the 15%, I know that was a question with regional planning. Was that confirmed that it is the higher
Yeah, yes.
decimal?
Yeah, and I think the new books reflected that.
Okay.
Street trees, landscape, their street trees 30 foot on center, 15-foot buffer between uses, that's along 36, 37, you were showing that in your plan. Access and connectivity, direct access, allow for cross easements, minimum 200 feet between driveways for access roads, that didn't apply. Pavement, roads, 20-year design life, parking 8-inch aggregate, 2-inch pavement. I do see heavy-duty pavement, light-duty pavement, but it did not designate the 8-inch aggregate 2-inch pavement. So I said no, but just because the detail wasn't on your plans.
Right.
If it's somewhere and I missed it, let me know. Or if you can prove. Your civil plan should have a paving detail, but
Yeah, no, I did. Driveways are the heavy duty, so they're actually 10-inch, so 7 inches of two stone, 3 inches of crushed aggregate. And then we have actually 2.5 and 1.5 inches of pavement as far as the heavy duty structure.
okay, yes, all right, I see now. Yeah, so that exceeds that, okay. Thank you. Parking, behind or side of building may encroach no closer than 5 feet into internal setbacks. Vehicle use area, 24 spaces in a single, max 12 spaces in a single row, you met all that. Parking islands, you met that.
So can I ask a question about that?
Yes.
It mentions double loaded. What is double loaded? I tried to look it up. Is it like one of those drawings? Yep, that one, okay.
It depends on where you're at, the Hannah classifies that differently, but yes, I know what you're saying.
So these are all single.
Yeah, like your traditional grocery store parking lot or mall parking lot.
Yeah, okay. Parking spaces, minimum space for 600 gross, that doesn't really apply. Hotel motel, minimum 1 space per room, max 2 spaces per room, and I think you're close to 2 spaces per room.
Yeah, 1.7.
Something like that, yeah. Space size, 9 by 20, with aisleways, minimum of 24.
Their eyes were 26.
Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, I thought they were 26. Okay, so yeah, you meet that. Peak parking, I don't think that applies. Loading spaces doesn't apply. Perimeter parking doesn't apply. Signs, from what I could tell from what you've shown, you meet the Article 25 sign code. Anybody see anything different?
I agree.
Okay. Sidewalks, multiple use paths. You met all the requirements there. So the last one is environmentally sensitive areas. On one of the plans, it shows, I believe, 3 or 4 wetlands and no discussion on what's happening with those. So to me, unless you can describe me where that's at. I don't know how you're preserving
We're not,
or, okay,
I mean, we are preserving a section of wetland. This location right here is all wetland, we're putting retaining wall around this section. But the other, because this is jurisdictional, which means we actually overviewed by the Army Corps of Engineers. The rest are Ohio, EPA isolated wetlands, which we're gonna fill in. So those are your little, like, groundwater that just sits there for a long period of time and the vegetation appears. So those are throughout the site itself, but we're mitigating that through a land bank. So we give money to a land bank and they create wetlands off-site.
is that discussed anywhere in your application?
I don't know if you mentioned that, I don't think they would have that in the application, so we can provide that information.
That to me is a miss.
Okay.
So. Okay, then on to landscaping, more landscaping, I should say. Perimeter area within 200 feet of residential, again, that doesn't apply. Perimeter buffer with residential does not apply. Ground coverage, max 25 or 75% excluding a public right of way, met that. Minimum sizes, deciduous 2-inch cal, coniferous, thank you. 5 feet high, shrubs 3 feet high. That was all covered, I believe, in that chart that you were talking about with landscaping. Opacity. I think that was mentioned somewhere too, and I have, it meets that. Street trees, deciduous, 30 foot on center, met that. Buffer zones and screening. I had guessed for all of it, that I found all of that information. So unless you ladies did not or have a question on it.
Do the mail kiosk and contact areas be included in that?
Oh.
I guess the mail kiosk, I can see there's some stuff behind it.
But the buffers are between property owners, so like different properties, so not within the same property. So that's, unless there's other questions, that's it for the checklist.
I think we skipped over the lighting. But the max height.
Oh, yes, you are.
It was met. And, I couldn't make out lumens.
I couldn't either. Thank you. You're right. I did skip that. Max 3,000 lumens, 1 foot candles at lot line. We did not have a lighting detail unless.
It's probably in there, but I can't read it because it's small. Like, I'm guessing it's in there probably. You know what I mean? Because it's got like the actual product.
If you've got a full size sheet of it, if you could look at, that would help.
Yeah, because there's like a lot of detail about them, but I can't almost read it.
I think that's when I took a picture of my phone and tried to zoom it.
Oh,
I still couldn't read
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I don't have any full size in my book, so I wouldn't be able to.
Now, one of them mentions wattage, and, but.
Oh, I see lumens. 1,017.
So, tab 4.
Oh.
5,000, yeah, 5,700.
Is that the color tone? No, I see it. Wait. Oh, I see it. Yeah.
Can you see that?
Just barely.
It's deep.
It's deep high. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's up here. It's this. But if that is indeed 5,000, it's too high. And that's for the flagpole uplighting, right? That's probably even worse to be over.
Yeah, all the parking lot lighting is that LED down lighting, so the only accent lighting, flagpole. Sort of lighting.
And what standard are you, the 3,000 lumens where? Just max or the 35?
It's,
At the property line.
yeah, max 3,000. So, yeah.
I can do that.
Light will be utilized for all, it's 1537 in the overlay
Mhm.
code.
Lumens.
Yeah. Light bulb utilized for all other uses shall not produce more than 3,000 lumens. And then I don't know about the other ones, lumen-wise. Definitely. So. Besides that, do you have anything else of concern for us? I do. Okay. All right, and then that would bring us to our public comment portion of this evening. So if you would like to make a comment, before you do, state your name and your street address for the record. And then we would love to hear what you have to say. So is there any public comment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dave Conrad, my wife Kim, we have property 6715, this is right across the street. We had interest because we saw that, wanted to see what was going on. And I guess my concern is I see this as, when I think of hotel, I do a lot of traveling, I think of hotel, Hilton. This to me is nothing more than what is it, 30 days max? 30 days minimum?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't know how we can get a residential hotel out of that, because when I think hotel, it's a week or less or something. I look at this as more, I look at from just what I've been looking at tonight, I see the materials in there that use good boarding like expert and stuff like that. There's nothing more needed than low-level building materials. And to me, this is nothing more than low-income housing. Look at the size of this, you got 100 or 400 square foot place for in a one-bedroom suite, and then your two bedrooms basically double that. I'm thinking once again, it has it's not very nice looking. And then you have these little garages here. To me, I guess I have a question. If you have any of these built on this area already?
Yeah, we've actually developed, all over Central Ohio, we've been developing since 1964. To date, we've built about 16,000 residential units in Central Ohio. As far as residential hotel products, we've built those all over Central Ohio as well. There's actually one across the street at Four Winds in Berkshire Township, in the commercial line in Chipotle. So they're allowed by code. They're licensed by the state of Ohio as hotels, a little different structure as far as the agreements with the residents than you would as a traditional residential unit. So it's just a combination of things that we do differently on these products. A lot of our clientele is corporate. They're on there for short-term work assignments, consultant basis. For this particular location, quite an interest by the Intel development. This is within 20 miles of Intel, so it's a lot of accessibility on it. 36, 37, and 71 for not only construction workers per se, but also short-term employees that are going to be in that area.
What I suggest is, give us some other properties you built in this area, Columbus area, that's been here for 5, 10 years, and we can take a look at it.
Yeah, this one in particular, as far as Four Winds, has been there for a few years, right across the street. There's some over in.
But I'm talking long term.
Yeah, it's like we've been building since the 60s, so everything we have is either brand new or it's been around for 40, 50 years.
And there's been
So,
40, 50 years, what's the upkeep? See what they look like.
well, the product obviously is developed to withstand 25 years of use, and then
Right.
we reface them after that point in time, change the interior cabinets, carpet, countertops, ceramic flooring, and then the exterior changes as well. But this is all natural materials, which isn't very common in this type of element. It's all hardy plank, exterior with stone.
Are you familiar with what happens to hardy plank when it gets ice or water against it?
Well, why don't we do vinyl? But we can't in this district. So that's unfortunate. I would prefer to do vinyl.
I can tell you what happens.
Is the maintenance
Places
long-term.
hardy plank. Nice. But that's my opinion. I guess you asked me for opinions. That's my opinion. I would recommend, look at some of these structures that they have in place, been there 5, 10 years, and see what they look like and see what they attract.
And we appreciate that comment, and like I said, it will be in the record. It's not something that this board will decide, but it will be in our notes. Zoning and trustees will see it, and they're the ones that, will be able to have more of an impact on that. But as far as we're concerned, those materials are on our checklist, and it meets it. And that's what we will pass on, is just, does it meet our requirements or not? And then as for your comment about the type of use it is, again, that will be for them to decide if they agree with the applicant that it is indeed hotel use. And according to the Ohio Revised Code, it does count as a hotel, and it is defined as a hotel.
So I'm just
Yeah.
concerned because if I put something like a nice coffee house or something across the street, yeah, it's gonna attract that, but we don't know what happens after, you talk about construction workers, things like that. I mean, I've been around that kind of thing,
Yeah.
so.
Hopefully it will,
I'm not saying all of it's bad, but
Yeah.
occasionally you're right.
yeah. Okay. Any other public comments?
Nothing? Just showing up, saying hi.
Just came to say hi to you, Joe.
Thank you. Construction worker,
So am I.
right? Construction worker?
I do it part-time,
Okay, she's a full-time construction worker, so.
but I'm full-time retail engineer.
Yeah, understand. But I've been in construction myself and my family and family members and friends for a number of years. I wouldn't mind building and living one of these myself, so. we're owned by an owner in Central Ohio. He's been here his entire life. I've been here my entire life. So we're very proud of what we build. We don't necessarily, we don't build for,
But before tonight, I didn't know you, so.
no, I understand.
That's why I want references.
No, I
That's so everybody knows.
No problem. They've known me for years, the board, I don't know if the entire board, but a number of these people have known me. I don't know how far back they're going. We developed golf courses, we developed warehouses, commercial properties, office buildings, multifamily, single family, detached condominiums,
Did you get any funding from, for this project?
No, we don't, we actually fund the projects. So these developments, actually are part of the GEN and the TIP.
Okay.
That spin off millions of dollars for funding for Berkshire Township as well as interchange. The property just to the south, we're projecting to fund $50 million of funding for the interchange.
What's your plan for the project behind this? You know that yet?
Oh, we already have a development to the south of it.
Okay.
Covered East and Ridge, that's in the city of Sunbury.
And that's apartments, right?
Apartments,
Yeah.
so, on the vinyl siding, apartments. With stone and brick and vinyl siding.
Are they blue?
They may be gray.
So they may match this in the future. Okay. So, what would you like us to do?
So what do you do in this circumstance? Move on with the recommendation to with
Yeah, I
your
think-
suggestions, and we just submit it to the actual board?
Yes, I think I talked with, or I email exchanged with trustees and we had talked about before, like, do we treat this kind of like a regional planning does? Like, we recommend with these conditions. So I think,
That's what I'd like you to do,
okay,
if that directs my
yeah,
preference.
so,
We've owned this for a while, and
yeah,
I don't know if you noticed, some of the stuff is a year old in this application already. So to get to this point, it takes quite a bit of effort, because we fully engineered it for Delaware County. We work with ODOT, which is a very long process to get access. We work with Delco Water, we work with Berlin Fire Department, everything takes months to get to this point. So unfortunately, we want to know that everything is set in stone before we come to you guys, as far as where the buildings are located, where the storm structures, the sanitary, the water lines, the fire hydrants. So we're far enough along the process that we don't have to change stuff. I'd like to go quicker, but I have to go through the process.
yeah. I understand. Okay, so, with that, do you guys think we should, I would say we recommend with the conditions that, right? Should we make like a clean
I think what we
copy
can
of the checklist, or?
do is recommend that it doesn't meet the requirements and then outline which ones it doesn't meet.
Mhm.
But we're not like a pass or fail, or, we're just, no, it did not meet these sections of the code. Everything else was fine, but this,
Mhm. So like, so did you see like with regional planning, they're like, the actual motion says, make a motion to recommend conditional approval, subject to staff recommendations. So we could say that and say like, our recommendations are fix this and this and this. Or you don't feel comfortable with that.
not exactly, because it's not, we're not making conditions. Our task is, does it meet the code, yes or no? In this case, it doesn't meet the code because of, and then we could list out the ones that it doesn't meet, and then when it comes to zoning commission, I would assume you would say, hey, we went to ARB, they said it doesn't meet this, we made these changes in the plans, and we feel now it does. I think is our role.
Mhm.
Versus a condition or, an approval or disapproval, we're just,
Yeah.
and I'm happy to try to
So-
make the motion and outline the ones where they didn't meet.
Okay.
To fix, if that's what you're looking for.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just thinking like how do we actually, what does the motion look like, I guess?
And just for your benefit, what we did with the last one that we didn't approve either, is they received a copy of the checklist,
Good, that's all.
the marked up checklist. So Claudia, if you could make a copy of this.
Yeah, we're not any,
Give it to
you
me,
know,
give it back, but include that in the minutes.
we're not any debate of these items you gave us.
Agreed.
If either there's clarity that needs to be made or changed, I mean, the lighting, the color, the environmental impact,
Yeah.
and then of course your elements on
Building.
into the buildings.
Yeah.
More elements on the, basically in the building 6, and then each end of the building needs more architectural elements.
Yeah, so then when you guys go to zoning, and you'll be like, okay, well, this is what we did, or we are, whatever, we're going to do this, then they'll see that and they'll be like, okay, good,
Correct.
we're glad you did that. Okay.
Todd's have to blow up a lighting plan.
Yes.
Well, it looks like we got a,
Or at least.
I didn't catch that 3,000 lumens max. So
Yeah.
that's only.
That was 3,000, I can see in the plan, it says 3,000.
Even when I was
Hey,
20.
big into baby.
I think your landscape architect is
He does
paying
that.
you.
I don't know, I just put on here what Joe told me.
All right, you want me to try to start doing this?
Yeah, should we do like a cleanup one, or?
Oh,
do we
you
just
are
clean it up?
You are welcome to
Okay.
do a
I
cleanup
think
first.
that would be good. Right?
You like when chicken scratches? My Robin's egg blue pen?
I mean, I don't mind it, I could probably figure it out.
All right, so you want me just to run down?
Yeah,
and
let's
say-
just run through it. and
Do you
I'll-
want to do just the nose to turn
Yeah,
to Claudia?
Yes, yeah, okay. All right, which we're.
The no is, the first no is setbacks, minimum side and rear yard. Couldn't verify, it's in the text, but we couldn't verify it on the plans.
Okay.
Building dimensions are not on the plans, basically.
Okay. So I'm gonna write in text. Add to plan. Okay,
Site design is where we're at next, architectural, facing 36, 37 must appear to be front. No, Hotel 6 has side to 36, 37.
all right,
Building design, no, it has blank walls, no stone on the sides. So the kind of the same detail on all sides.
all right,
Building colors, no, because it's a beautiful blue. Design elements, blank, no, it doesn't meet because of blank walls on the sides, longer than 20 foot. Then our next no is on the second page. I was listed again, the lighting. And then next is.
okay,
Environmentally sensitive areas, no detail on what happens to wetlands. And then the landscape, we met.
okay. All right, so just to, so you guys know what I jotted down, for the side setbacks, I said in the text, add the plan. For the site design, I said number 6 has number 6 dash side to 36, 37. Building design, blank walls, no stone on sides. Building colors, I just put blue. Design elements, blank walls more than 20 feet. And then I said the lumens were greater than 5,000. And then environmentally sensitive areas, I said no detail on wetlands.
They don't show the 1 foot candles at lot line either.
Oh, okay.
Let's put that detail.
It's just lumens, 5,000 common candles, is that okay? Or should I be more specific?
So they're two different things.
Yeah.
Because they can have
All right, so I'm saying lumens too great.
no foot candle detail.
You know,
And
more.
lot line detail, yes, so.
All right, so lumens too great, no foot candle detail for that category. And then no detail on wetlands. Mitigation, wetlands mitigation. Okay. And everything else is gonna have a check mark on it. Well, actually, some of it's not applicable.
That's true.
Will you tell me which ones are not?
Building height adjacent to residential is not applicable. Rooftop screening is not applicable.
And mechanicals are here. Okay. Let's see what else.
Oh,
Drive-throughs. Access and connectivity, I suppose not applicable. Activity connects within the site itself, so I think that's okay. Peak parking, not applicable. Loading spaces, not applicable. Perimeter, not applicable. That's it. And then the top two on the landscaping are not
Yeah.
Everything else is met.
Alright, now I think we're good.
Yeah, could you put BBP 23
On here.
00
Yeah.
to end today's date?
Yes.
Thank you.
BDP 23-002 in the date.
Yeah, it is Burn Business Park.
Okay.
So-
Make a motion.
We don't really need a motion other than to adjourn because we've done our task.
Well, I think we need to make a motion to like, that we all
Okay, that we
approve
agree
this.
with.
Yeah.
I motion to approve our agreement on the checklist that we have reviewed and provided.
For, and then Steve.
For BP 23-002 on June 7th, 2023.
Second. Please call the roll.
Yorko,
Yes.
Littleton,
Yes.
Ludwigson,
Yes.
All right. And, with that, I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Joe Thomas.
We never do zoning, but I think the trustees do, right?
Have a good evening. Take care.
I mean,
I think that's, yeah, that's clear. Joe, do you want, take this back if you need to recycle or reuse?
I don't really need them,
'cause-
but since everything changed, all garbage now.